So, Rune Factory 4, you were a very influential game on me back when I really first got into gaming as much as I am now. Rune Factory 4 originally launched on the 3DS back in 2012, and at the time was the final entry in the Rune Factory series. Well, nearly 8 years later, here we are again, and with not only Rune Factory 5 once again in development, but a remaster of Rune Factory 4 to hold us over with Rune Factory 4 Special. The original Rune Factory 4 was one of my most played 3DS games, clocking in at around 300 hours, only being beaten by Animal Crossing New Leaf and Story of Seasons A New Beginning. So, being able to jump back into this game has been a real treat. But how does this game fare today? Is it still one of the best JRPGs I ever played? Or has the game aged horrendously like Rune Factory 1 and 2? Well, today we find out. Rune Factory 4 Special starts out with you traveling to the town of Selphia, where you are to deliver an important message to their native dragon Ventuswil. But in true Rune Factory fashion, you end up with amnesia, and cannot remember for the life of you as to why you are in Selphia to begin with. After some mistaken identity of the people believing you to be the royal prince, you become the prince and begin to rule the town, while also trying to find out the mystery behind your forgotten memories. While the startup for this story is your typical Rune Factory fare, the overall story is much more than that. As a newfound prince, your duties will involve doing the requests of the people around town, and in solving the inherent mysteries of the land around you. But before we take a dive into that, I want to talk about the core gameplay of Rune Factory 4 Special. For those of you who don't know, Rune Factory 4 Special is the latest numbered entry in the Rune Factory series, which is a spin-off of Marvelous's Story of Seasons series, formerly localized as Harvest Moon, and takes the farming and social sim aspect of the Story of Seasons series and intertwines it with a more RPG style, such as crafting and dungeon crawling, and a deeper focus on narrative. And honestly, the gameplay has aged so well that I would believe you if you told me this game came out this year originally. In terms of the farming gameplay, it is pretty much your standard Story of Seasons fare. You are given a plot of land in which you have to cultivate to grow a variety of different crops. As you progress through the game, you'll be able to expand the land in which you have available to farm on, and you'll be able to recruit monsters to help on the land, but more on that later. Really, if you're just playing this game for your farming fantasy adventure, you really won't be let down, as you'll be able to explore more dungeons that will give you better materials in which you can upgrade all your farming tools, making the farming even more seamless. But yeah, for a game that's focused heavily on farming, it's so simplistic it's perfect. I mean, sure, you can look into crop mutations and better level crops by slashing your crops instead of harvesting them, but the complexities are very simple, and with the amount of complexities in other parts of the game, the farming being some of the simplest goes a long way in making you want to do it over and over again. Oh, and new to the series is the ability to stack crops when you harvest them. This simple addition goes a long way to make the simple act of harvesting crops or materials strangely fun. Speaking of fun, I hope you love resource gathering and numbers. Trust me, it's fun. So, the Rune Factory series is known for its pretty extensive crafting and foraging system, and early on you unlock the ability to craft your own accessories and forge your own tools and weapons, and later on you'll be able to become a culinary genius and become your own pharmaceutical company. Most of the items you farm, scavenge, or loot can be used to make better tools, weapons, or cook your latest meal. By doing any of these things, you'll level up your skills, and the higher the skills are, the easier it'll be to make newer and funner things. Not only that, but leveling up your skills will also increase your HP and RP, which will allow you to go out and find even more things in more dangerous areas. Really, the entire leveling up system is so well fleshed out in this game that I will constantly try and mix up my combat plans to level up as many weapons as possible, and experiment with many different combinations of tool upgrades or enhancements. Honestly, there's a certain level of mastery to all this that'll make the late game feel like a reward all of its own. So now that you have all of your own weapons and accessories ready to go, where do you venture forth to? Well, going south of the town, the whole wide world is open to you to explore. Throughout your adventure, you'll be asked to explore various dungeons to investigate strange anomalies that are happening. The dungeons will start off pretty small, but the further you progress into the game, the more complex they will be, with varying twists and turns. To make it through these dungeons, you will have many different combat options available to you. As previously mentioned, almost every weapon has its own leveling up system to encourage you to try out different weapon combinations to see what best suits the enemies at hand. While exploring the dungeons are pretty simplistic with basic puzzles, they are probably some of the best designed ones in the Rune Factory series so far, each one feeling incredibly unique from the last. Also, the music in this game is probably some of the best in the series in terms of the different tracks to play throughout the dungeons. Many of the tracks really improve the overall atmosphere to each dungeon and made them feel much bigger than what some really were. Sometimes violence isn't always the answer, and as such you may find it beneficial to not always slay every monster you come across. As a Rune Factory tradition, you're able to tame the wild beasts you may run into. In turn, these beasts can be used to do work around your farm or accompany you into battle. The different creatures that you can befriend can lead to a very diverse cast of party members for you to take with you. However, beasts aren't the only party members you can take in the battle with you. Sometimes your fellow countrymen can be the best backup you could ever ask for. So now that we've covered the core gameplay, let's discuss the ever-important social aspect of the game. And honestly, Rune Factory 4 Special is probably the cream of the crop in terms of characters, character interaction, and just overall writing. The town of Selphia at all times feels very well connected, as everyone in town has their own story, and all of these stories feel intertwined with each other. More than ever before, friends in this game actually feel like friends with their very own chemistry. The town of Selphia feels like an actual town with its own dedicated communities. And the best part about all this is the fact that the villagers themselves have so much unique dialogue for a variety of different things that you can sometimes go ages before you start seeing repeat dialogue from the people you talk to. This can probably be credited to the fact that each villager has their own 2 cents as the events that are happening in the story, but also in your love life, festivals, and their own personal struggles. What really drives a lot of this home are the different events that you can witness with the various people around town. You can run into full-blown subplots about different dramas going on behind the scenes. These events go a long way in making your friendships feel genuine, and your love life feel special. However, the only problem with the different events is the over-reliance on RNG that the game uses, and spacing them out. A lot of these events will of course require that you have done certain things before they trigger. However, simply doing said things aren't just enough, and you must wait for a random date for them to actually trigger. This can be a real pain when it comes to wanting to date someone or even marrying them. It seems like my poor luck of confessing my love to Xiaopai continued to fall on deaf ears, as it took ages for her to accept my love confession to her. And even then I still had troubles of triggering some of her events before I could actually propose to her. Now I get this is done to make things feel more authentic and not like a robotic chain of events, but I feel like a better system could have been used to help trigger events sooner the longer you went without triggering them. Sure, there are methods around this such as save scumming, but I honestly feel like I shouldn't have to rely on these things. All of that aside, the game strongly encourages you to do your best to befriend everyone in town, as not only will you unlock awesome events and get some cool rewards, but you'll also get to ask your friends to join you in battle. Just about everyone in town is recruitable to join your party, and there's a variety of different combat styles between them. You can really make a fun and diverse party when you combine them with the different monsters you can recruit, and thanks to all of this, it creates a nice charisma between you and your party members. I don't know, it could just be me, but I feel like it's a real adventure when I can go out and explore these different dungeons with my friends I made around town. That said, please keep in mind that some villagers are definitely better party members than others, so be sure to find the right combination that fits for you. In terms of the game's overall story, I honestly find this one to be the strongest out of all the mainline Rune Factory entries. You will slowly work your way backwards to find out why you originally came to Selphia in the first place, and discover a lot of secrets about the town and the surrounding areas. It should also be noted that this game is broken into several arcs. You will know when you complete an arc once you reach a credit roll, for 3 different arcs in total, so don't think you completed the game after you reach the first roll of credits. In fact, I dare say your adventure is just beginning once you move into the second arc. The only complaint I have about this system is that the final arc is also tied behind the same RNG as town events, so when you begin the third arc it may be different each time you play, but honestly, with the spike in difficulty from the second to third arc, it may just be for the best to get your best gear that you can possibly get before you go into those final battles. But the arc system truly makes the story feel like everything is developing alongside of you, and leads to some pretty big reveals, and reveals that were even more shocking as you get to know the people around town more. So I guess I should now answer the question of what truly makes Rune Factory 4 special, well, special. Well, the biggest inclusion a lot of veterans may enjoy is the new difficulty mode, Hell. This new difficulty will put your knowledge of the game's combat to the test. Not only do monsters hit harder, but they also will be much more aggressive than they were before. The Hell difficulty alone will easily provide some replay value for those who wish to go for a more challenging adventure. Also new to this game is the addition of a Newlywed Mode. This mode allows you to see various newlywed scenes if you're bachelor or bachelorette of choice. It's a nice addition that makes the game feel all the more cozy. Finally, there is the inclusion of the Another Episode DLC. However, only Ventus Will's Another Episode DLC is available with the base game, and you'll have to buy the rest of them from the eShop. But really, it's about all there is to it to make it special. Sure, the game has enhanced visuals as it escapes the clutches of the Nintendo 3DS, but the game is only running at 900p while docked. But I can let that slide as the game runs at a nice consistent 60 frames per second, so it honestly feels like an entirely different experience from my original time playing this game. So, Rune Factory 4 Special. Honestly, it still holds a special place in my heart, and this version of the game has really reinforced it as one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. The game has aged with so much grace you won't even feel like it was a 3DS title originally. I recommend this game to anyone who's looking for an awesome JRPG to sink hundreds of hours into, and they never got around to playing the original release. For those of you who already own it on 3DS, I still recommend this game on the sheer fact of the improvements the game has over the original release. And come on, you know you want to fall in love with this game all over again. So there you have it, my review of Rune Factory 4 Special. Honestly, with the amount of Rune Factory that I've been playing lately, I've been getting kind of burnt out. But no amount of burnout is hampering my love or recommendation of this game. I still love it, and I think you will too. So go ahead and pick this game up. It'll be a great primer for when Rune Factory 5 launches in North America either late this year or next year. Finally, if you have any comments or questions about the review or the game, by all means leave them down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. Also, if you're new to my channel, finding me out for the first time through this review, hey, be sure to subscribe for future reviews, commentaries, let's plays, and more. Also, if you really love what I do and want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member or a patron on Patreon like these awesome people on screen here. And as always everyone, thanks for watching.